everybody, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So in today's video, we are going to do a bit of a movie review. So I recently watched a movie called The Tale, and it came out in 2018. It's a drama written by and directed by Jennifer Fox, and it's her story. And it tells, and let me put my glasses on because I do have notes. So it tells the story of her own CSA, her experience with CSA, and her working out how she feels about it at 48 years old. And it stars Laura Dern as Jennifer Fox. It also stars Ellen Burstyn, Common, who is excellent in it. They're all excellent in it. Jason Ritter, Frances Conroy, and John Hurd. And it premiered in 2018 at the Sundance Film Festival and also began airing on HBO. And also I want to point out that the New York Times interviewed Jennifer Fox in 2023, and she revealed that the male thing that did this to her when she was a child was Ted Nash, and he was an Olympic medalist and Olympic coach. And he never experienced any kind of punishment for what he had done. But the movie shows Jennifer as a documentary filmmaker and professor, and she receives a voicemail from her mother. Her mother has gone through some boxes and found an essay she wrote when she was 13 years old that she wrote for school, and she was concerned about what she read in it, and she said, "I'm going to send it to you." So she gets it, so it's delivered to her, and she gets it in the mail, and she opens it, and she's reading it, and that's kind of where the movie kind of starts, where she is remembering things from the story, but as the movie goes on, she starts remembering them in a different light. So I think she first sees herself as 15 years old, or as older. Like, she sees herself as older looking and behaving. So, because when they first show her in a flashback with her dad, she looks a little bit older than 13. But then she sees a picture of herself at 13 and realizes how small and how incredibly young she really was. You know, she's 13 as a child. And then her flashbacks see her as that 13-year-old that she saw in the photograph of her. And the reason her mother's concerned is because the essay describes a relationship Jennifer had with an older male. I don't believe it specifies how much older, but she never told her mom about it because she didn't want her to get upset because the boy was older. But when she was 13 years old, she did not realize what was happening to her was criminal. She didn't realize she was a victim, even though she was vomiting and having reactions that someone who is being victimized in that way would have. Where did my other page go? Oh, here we go. All right. I knew I wrote more than this. So anyway, the audience is seeing her life in present and also in flashbacks. And when she looked back, she first imagined herself to be older and more sophisticated, but realizes when remembering and seeing pictures of herself at 13 how small and childlike she was. Because at 13, you are a child. I don't care how sophisticated or mature you think a 13-year-old acts. They're still a 13-year-old and their experience in life as a 13-year-old. You know, they're not 13 experience in life as a 20-year-old. And so the relationship began when she spent a summer in a horse training camp with a couple other girls. And during that summer, she lived with Mrs. G, and Mrs. G trained her in horse riding while Mrs. G's friend Bill was the girls' running coach. And at the end of the summer, Mrs. G and Bill brought Jennifer to dinner and told her that they were lovers. And the reason they were doing this is because they were trying to gain her trust, to try and make her feel like, oh, wow, these older people think I'm really mature, that they would share something like this with me. They must think I'm, really grown up. They're trying to make her feel like an equal to them, beginning the process of GROOMing her. So this, of course, was to make her feel that way, basically start the process. And Jenny continued to spend weekends with Mrs. G and Bill for more training. Like I think she was picked up on Friday and had to be brought back home on Sundays. And either Mrs. G would usually pick her up, but then Bill just started picking her up for more training. But it was really to give Bill the opportunity to do more GROOMing and finally actually R-wording her. And they really, they show it too. Like, they're not, like, the actress that plays the 13-year-old obviously isn't the same actress they're using in the sex scenes. And the only reason I'm using sex scene is because that's more acceptable to say on YouTube than what it actually is. Because we can't openly talk about that here for some reason, even though it's a problem plaguing everyone. You know what I mean? It is an issue. If it hasn't been done to you, you know someone it's been done to, So Jenny continued to spend her weekends with them. And in present, Jennifer's fiance reads the essay and tells her she was R-worded. He says, you were R-worded. And she tried to explain that it wasn't like that. It was the 70s. It was a different time. And she gets very angry and makes him leave. But this, as well as things her mother says, she begins to question herself and her memories, and eventually realizes that, yes, she was essayed, but she was still having trouble reconciling that, because although she was demonstrating the behavior of someone who was SA'd as a child, she didn't want to be a victim. She didn't want to appear as a victim. She didn't want anyone to look at her that way. She didn't want to be considered that way. And I certainly understand that, but and in the movie, you can kind of see her arguing, like adult Jenny arguing with 13-year-old Jenny about, it isn't like that. No, yeah, it is like that, It's just really, it's disturbingly real. It is very disturbingly real, but very tastefully done. And although it does not shy away from showing the truth of what happened to this young girl, I mean, they show quite a bit. Like, the actress from a certain camera angle, obviously isn't that 13-year-old actress, because they are showing moderately graphic stuff, in my opinion. And to me, in a sense, it's almost more disturbing than, say, those scenes in Saltburn that everyone is so traumatized by. It just goes to the edge. And it was very anger-inducing at many parts. And it seemed her mom was suspicious, because there was one part where, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm just going to tell you about this part. One part, he has to, and the man Bill is played by Jason Ritter, the younger version, the 40-year-old one. He goes to pick her up for the weekend at her house, and he brings the mom flowers and her dad a gift. And her mother finds that very suspicious, But people but her husband and everybody kind of poo-poo her, because they think she's being paranoid, like her mother is paranoid. And there's one scene where Bill drops her off, and Grandma sees him kiss her, and it's not a peck on the cheek. And the grandma's like, what did that man just do to you, And it was a whole thing. But the grandma never told her mom about it. And also the mom is very upset that she didn't know and didn't do anything to stop it, because she was suspicious of him. But, you know, and had grandma told her, hey, this is what I saw, they probably would have done something. Not to blame grandma, but because the mom seemed kind of suspicious and also seemed pretty protective of her, but didn't do anything to stop it because she didn't know what was going on. She just felt he was a little suspicious. So it's a well done movie. Like I said, I feel like it's tastefully done. The acting is impeccable, and it's, I just watched it because I was looking for something to watch, and I was like, okay, I'll just watch this. I like Laura Dern, and not really knowing too much about it. And I don't want to say I enjoyed it, because the subject matter isn't something you enjoy, but it is, you know, brings light to this. And I think any kind of media or movie or film or television show that brings light to this situation, shines light on it, keeps us aware that this is going on and it needs to be stopped, and it's never going to be stopped. And I know that, but, you know, we can at least try. But I find that it has a pretty satisfying ending, at least from Jennifer's point of view. Like, you can see how she's kind of satisfied with it, because, you know, I don't want to give it away, but she gets her moment. And with him, when he's, let's see, when he's in his 70s, I think, she finally gets her moment with him. And that's kind of rewarding. But in reality, the man that actually did this to her never really paid for his crimes against children. And you know there had to be more than her, you know, because, and Mrs. G was obviously his collector. Like, she was the one where girls would come to her house to train for horse riding. So she was his groomer. And then it's revealed that she was in on it with him. She knew what he was doing, and they would work it in to where they would have threesomes, foursomes and stuff. Like, I don't think this little girl ever actually experienced a threesome or foursome, but it's what they were working towards. And it's disturbing. It's sick. It's messed up, especially that it's a true story, and it's told, the person that wrote it and directed it, it is her life. It is her story she's telling. So it's from her point of view. It's her memory. And anyway, I think it's a really good movie. And if you can handle that kind of subject matter, I recommend it if you like dramas. But it might make you feel some kind of way, so trigger warning. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to share that with you. I'll probably start doing movie reviews more on my channel, because I do watch a lot of movies, even though, you know, you haven't seen very many from me. I think I've done 3 or 4 movie reviews, and I'll do more than horror, because I do watch more than horror movies. Maybe I'll do a review on Saltburn, but I just don't look at it the same way other people saw it. That movie really didn't disturb me. So, I mean, I saw the stuff they were talking about, and I was like, yeah, that's gross, but, you know, it's nothing I haven't seen before. So, maybe I'll review Saltburn. I'll think about it. I'll write my notes and see how I like it. But, I mean, how I like the final product of my notes. But anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye.